Evan woke up at 3:12 a.m. Not because of a dream, not because of a noise, but because of breathing. Slow, steady, wet breathing, coming from under the bed. He froze, staring at the ceiling, heart pounding in the dark. At first he thought it was Mia. Maybe she'd rolled over or was having a nightmare. But then he realized Mia wasn't in the bed. Her side was cold, the blanket untouched. And the breathing continued, deep, dragging, like someone struggling to inhale. Evan swallowed hard. He leaned over the edge of the mattress, his hand shaking as he whispered, "Mia?" The breathing stopped instantly. Silence. Total silence. Then, footsteps. Slow, soft footsteps coming from the hallway. Evan jerked his head toward the door. A figure stood in the hallway. Mia, half asleep, rubbing her eyes, walking toward the kitchen. She hadn't been under the bed. She wasn't even in the room. But something else was. And as Evan turned back toward the floor, the breathing started again. This time, louder, closer, right beneath him. Evan's breath caught in his throat. The breathing under the bed grew wetter, heavier, like whatever was under there had just woken up too. He slowly slid off the mattress, his feet touching the cold floor. From the hallway, Mia's sleepy voice drifted back. "Evan, why are you awake?" He almost answered her, but something whispered from directly beneath him. "Don't look under." Evan froze so hard his bones hurt. That voice, it sounded like Mia, almost, but not quite. The tone was wrong, the rhythm wrong, the breath between words wrong. Mia was still in the hallway. He could hear her footsteps shuffling toward the kitchen. So whoever whispered was definitely not her. Evan backed away from the bed, never taking his eyes off it. Another whisper came, low and shaky. "Don't let her see me." Evan swallowed, voice trembling. "Who are you?" No answer, just slow, shaky breathing, right by his ankle. He stepped farther back. The whisper came again, this time urgent. "She's not the one you think." Before Evan could respond, Mia's voice echoed from the hallway. "Evan? Who are you talking to?" He turned toward the door. Mia was standing in the kitchen light, messy hair, sleepy eyes, wearing the same t-shirt she fell asleep in. Normal. But when he looked back toward the bed, two pale fingers slid out from underneath. Not Mia's. Too long, too thin, trembling. The breathing stopped again. Then the whisper rose, sharp and terrified. "She's coming. Don't let her." Evan heard footsteps behind him. He turned. Mia was suddenly much closer. Much too close. Standing in the dark hallway, her face hidden in shadow. "Evan," she whispered, voice flat, expression unreadable. "Move. You're in my way." Evan's back hit the dresser. Mia, or the thing wearing her shape, stood motionless in the hallway, only her outline visible in the dark. The kitchen light behind her should have illuminated her face, but it didn't. Her face stayed in shadow, like the darkness was clinging to her. "Mia?" Evan whispered. She tilted her head slowly, too slowly, like she was learning how to move. "You're in my way," she repeated. The voice was Mia's, but the tone, flat, emotionless, like someone imitating her. Evan glanced at the bed. Those two pale fingers still stuck out from underneath, shaking, like whoever was under there was terrified. That whisper from below echoed again in his head. "She's not the one you think." The figure in the hallway stepped forward. 1 foot, pause. Another foot, longer pause. Evan swallowed hard. Mia, why were you in the hallway? You weren't in bed. No answer. She just kept walking toward him. Slow, methodical, almost rehearsed. Evan backed up toward the wall. The thing in the hallway stopped just a few feet from him. Then, in a calm voice that was absolutely not Mia's, "You didn't check the right side of the bed." Evan's breath hitched. What does that mean? It leaned in closer, so close he could hear something inside its throat clicking, like joints trying to align. Then it whispered, "She came out the other side." Evan's blood turned to ice. He whipped around and dropped to the floor, looking under the bed, but the long white fingers were gone. The space was empty, silent, cold. He slowly looked back at the hallway. The not Mia figure was inching closer, but its feet weren't touching the floor. Evan's stomach dropped. The thing wearing Mia's shape hovered inches above the floor, its toes pointed downward, never touching. Its smile slowly widened, stretching just a little too far. "Why are you backing away?" it asked softly. "Mia doesn't run from you." Evan's voice cracked. "You're not her." The figure blinked, not with eyelids, but like a camera shutter. Quick, mechanical. Then it whispered, "She doesn't know you're awake yet." Evan stumbled back toward the bed. He hesitated, then dropped to his knees and looked underneath again. This time he didn't see darkness. He saw eyes. Not glowing, not monstrous, just human, terrified, wide. "Mia?" he whispered. She reached a shaking hand toward him. "Evan, hurry! Don't let it touch me. Don't let her see me. She's pretending to be me. Please pull me out." Evan grabbed her wrist instinctively. Behind him, the fake Mia tilted her head at an impossible angle. "You found her," it whispered. "I told her to stay hidden." Evan pulled harder. Mia's arm slid a little closer, her nails digging into his palm. "Evan, hurry! She copies everything. Everything except everything. Except." Mia's voice cut off. From behind Evan, the fake Mia finished her sentence perfectly. "Except what's underneath." Evan felt cold breath on his neck. Too cold, too close. He turned his head slowly. The fake Mia was right beside him, face inches from his ear. Her mouth didn't move when she spoke. "Let her go." Evan tightened his grip on real Mia's wrist. "No." The fake Mia leaned closer, her cheek almost brushing his. Then, in a voice that sounded stitched together from pieces of Mia's real voice, "She hid under the bed because I knew I'd steal her face first." Under the bed, real Mia sobbed. "Don't listen to her. She doesn't need my face. She needs your—" Something yanked Mia violently back into the darkness. Her fingers slipped from Evan's hand. "Mia!" he screamed. The fake Mia sighed, almost disappointed. "You weren't supposed to see that yet." Then she knelt down beside him, slowly, like a puppet learning to bend its limbs. "Now," she whispered, touching the floor with one long fingertip. "Let's pull her out together." The floorboards beneath the bed began to thump, not from one person, but from two. The thumping under the bed grew louder, not like fists hitting wood, but like something panicking, something struggling. Two voices bled through the floorboards. One was Mia, sobbing, gasping, pleading. The other, a perfect echo of Mia's voice, mocking her. Evan's heart hammered as he crawled backward. The fake Mia knelt beside him, tilting her head as if listening to a song. "She's getting tired," the creature whispered. "You know how she is. She never could fight for long." Evan snapped. "Let her go! What do you want?" The creature smiled softly, almost lovingly. I don't want her, it whispered. I want what she sees in you. Evan felt the blood drain from his face. What does that mean? The creature leaned closer, the air around it turning icy. She dreams of being safe. She dreams of being held. She dreams of someone who would never leave. Evan tightened his fists. That has nothing to do with... Oh, but it does, the creature said, voice darkening. She dreams of you, Evan, all the time. Its face flickered, Mia's face for a heartbeat, then empty, blank skin, then Mia again. She made me from those dreams. Evan froze. You're her nightmare? The creature smiled wider. I'm her escape. Under the bed, something slammed against the boards, hard. Evan! Mia screamed. Don't let it touch you. If it copies you, there'll be two of them. The fake Mia exhaled softly. Tss, always ruins surprises. Evan lunged forward, trying to pull Mia out, but the creature moved faster, much faster. It placed a cold hand on his shoulder. Instantly, Evan felt something leaking into him, like fingers searching through memories. Stop! He gasped. The creature whispered in his ear. You're warm. I want that. I want your voice, your breath, your shape. Mia shrieked from under the bed. Evan, move! He ripped himself free, falling backward just as the creature's face began to shift. Its nose reshaped, its jaw tightened, its hair darkened. It wasn't copying Mia anymore. It was copying him. Half its face was Mia, half its face was Evan, and the mouth, neither of theirs, smiled. Now, it whispered in two voices layered together, let's finish becoming. The bed lifted an inch off the floor, something under it pushing upward, harder, harder. Mia screamed, Evan, run! Because she's almost me and he's almost you. The bed slammed upward, hard enough to crack the frame. Evan stumbled back as the creature finished reshaping its face. Half Mia, half Evan, and a mouth that belonged to no thing human. It stood perfectly still, its mismatched eyes blinking out of sync. From under the bed, Mia's voice cried out, Evan, I'm stuck. She's holding my legs. Don't let her touch you. The creature turned its new face toward him. You don't need her anymore, it whispered in a voice that sounded like Mia and Evan speaking together. We can be everything she wants, everything you want. The bed lurched again, and then Mia's arm shot out from under it, grabbing the floorboard. Mia! Evan dove forward, but the creature moved between them, blocking his path with a slow, deliberate step. You can choose. Pull her out, or let me finish becoming you. Evan's body trembled. His breath came fast and shallow. Then, from under the bed, Mia whispered hoarsely, Evan, look at her feet. He did. The creature's feet were wrong. Toes bending forward and backward, shifting like they were deciding which shape belonged to which person. And in that moment, Evan realized it still didn't know which one of them it should copy. He took a breath. Then he whispered, Hey, if you want to become me, then you'll need to catch me. He bolted toward the bedroom door. The creature shrieked, a sound made of two voices tearing apart, and lunged after him. As it left the bedside, Mia crawled halfway out from under the bed, panting, tears streaming. Evan, don't stop! Evan sprinted into the hallway. The creature followed, but its copied legs weren't used to running. They bent wrong, twisted wrong, slapped at the floor like wet fabric. It crashed into the wall, screaming in frustration. Mia, now! Evan yelled. Mia dragged herself fully out from under the bed, slammed the bedroom door shut, and jammed the lock. Evan grabbed her hand, and together they ran. Down the hallway, down the stairs, out the front door into the cold night. Behind them, something slammed into the locked door. Then again. Then silence. For a full minute, neither of them spoke. They just breathed, alive. Finally, Mia whispered, "It wasn't under the bed when I woke up. It was in the room. It crawled under there when you walked in." Evan stared at her, horrified. "It was watching me sleep?" Mia nodded. "It whispered to me, told me to stay quiet, told me it needed a face, and it chose mine because I was closest." Evan swallowed hard. "What if it gets out?" Mia didn't answer, because at that exact moment, from the second-floor window, they saw movement. A figure, standing perfectly still, watching them. Not Mia, not Evan, not anymore. Something in between, and it smiled.